Jason Carl. Jason Carl. Jason Carl.
Let's tell a vampire story.
Hi, family. We here at McStabber Studios take the emotional well-being of our viewers very seriously. And due to the personal horror nature of Vampire the Masquerade, some of the content of our streams could cause some strong emotional responses. If you feel like that has happened to you during any of our streams, take a moment, take a break, mute the stream, or just skip an episode. Or if you decide that you want to sit through it and watch it, we are available in chat to talk you through it if you need that. Ultimately, we want you to take care of yourself. Do what you feel like you need. Thank you for joining us on this dark journey, and we hope you enjoy this episode of DC by Night, Vengeance Waits.
Good evening, it's your boy Twitch again with the Streams of Darkness news update. This week, once again, we're brought to you by Aluka Blood Product Services. Aluka BPS, they're tapping the potential of blood. Down in Vancouver, according to the news, the rock shop apparently had a small gas leak which resulted in a much larger explosion. Of course, Maniacal Jack has told me don't always believe what's on the news because in this case it had something to do with his clan. I didn't want to ask for more info, of course, because those Zamichi really creep me the fuck out. If you'd like more information on this, check out Vancouver by Night. Down in Atlanta, preparations are still ongoing for the big ball, but overall there isn't much information coming from the city. I wonder what could be going on down there to make such a news blackout. You can peek at them over at ATL by Night. Down in New Orleans, it seems someone has stolen a large amount of fertilizer from the warehouses. I guess someone wanted even more bullshit to throw around. I guess if you need more information, you could go over to Sanguine_Nights. Speaking of cities with a lot of bullshit to throw around, we come to DC. There seems to have been a meeting of the Roses. Not quite sure what goes on in Lily's little meetings, but she obviously laid something on Chaz Voyager because he was sighted leaving the place with a little bit of a funniness in his walk. Lily, what have you been doing this time? If you'd like more information, well, you're already here, aren't you? It seems I've got to run as always. Can't be broadcasting this just too long. People might get a little bit of an idea of where I am. Goodbye, everyone.
Free range, ethically sourced, cruelty free, certified humane, organic blood products. Delivered by our conscientious and discreet private fleet.
Secret.
We make sure our stock is local, sustainable, and diverse enough to suit even the most discriminating tastes. Aluka Blood Product Services. Tapping the potential of blood.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McStabber Studios' DC by Night. These are our vignettes that tell the side stories of the DC by Night Chronicle. These will not only be things that normally would never be streamed and are behind-the-scene activities, but they are also the side stories of the individual coterie members that we feel would take up too much time from the actual table game to show everyone, but we do feel they're important. Tonight's three episodes. They're all linked together. The first of the three is going to involve Dorian and Esmeralda, and the argument they had that Sabrina Damask overheard a few weeks ago. Please enjoy this first vignette. Good evening. For this vignette, the scene is going to be set in Dorian's castle. Of course, I will be playing Dorian Adams, the Mad Venture of DC.
And I will be playing Esmeralda Sang, adopted child, otherwise known as daughter, of Dorian Adams.
As with many knights, Dorian is on his throne. And he spends most of his nights sitting on his throne, pondering his own life. And when the scene begins, the throne room of Dorian's castle is empty, besides Dorian himself, who is lounging on his throne, wearing an armor with the motif of a dragon emblazoned upon it. It's almost an enameled painting on his armor itself. It has a very large sword on the throne, or sitting beside the throne. And that is where we start.
I'm going to stomp right into that room. Father.
Good evening, daughter. You seem peckish tonight.
You could say that.
I did.
Brian is here. In town. I saw him and he didn't recognize me.
Should not matter. I told you. Stay away from him. He is not yours.
He is mine.
He cannot be yours. I told you before when this all started. If you wanted to keep him, you should have left him a ghoul.
No! Bonding him was just a falsehood of love. It was a mockery.
It's still love.
No, it wasn't. The more I gave to him, the less it was him. I had to embrace him.
Do you not understand what we do when we're young and stupid?
Oh, I was young, but I was never stupid.
I've told you before. What was done was for your protection as well as him.
What did Granger do to him? I know it was him. He doesn't look the same. It was announced as a different name, but I know it's him.
Perhaps he has forgotten you. What Granger did or did not do is of zero consequence. I did not approve of him. I did not agree to him being embraced.
Well, he's a primogen now. Is that good enough for you?
No. He is flawed. He is broken. Your own clan would never accept him.
Oh my God, I don't even use my clan's powers. I'm not a Lasombra.
Be that as it may, you are still of that blood. When you came to me those years ago scared, I protected you. And yet, you repaid me by embracing one unworthy. But in my own mercy, I spared him, though he had to be given to another.
And in your mercy, you break your daughter's heart.
When you have lived as long as I do, and you have seen what I have seen, and you have fought the battles I have fought, you will understand sometimes things must be done that are unpleasant.
When you're like this, I can't talk to you.
I can understand your frustration. You will stay away from him. He is not yours.
I'm going out. Don't wait up. And she turns to leave and stomps right out.
And left alone, in his throne room. Dorian leans back on his throne. She'll learn in a century, maybe more. She'll understand what I did was best, and what I told Granger to do was best. She won't understand now. No, I know, no, she won't understand now. But we've done what we must to protect her and protect us, and in some ways protect him. She can't have him. She is mine. I will not give her up. Not for one of flawed blood. He is not worthy to be called my son. He is not noble. He is not a power like me. So young, so full of the human frailties. In time, she'll lose it. And when she does, she'll understand. Where does Esmeralda, does she leave the castle or just go to another part? Because as Esmeralda's leaving the room, and Dorian is muttering to himself on his throne, you've passed someone that you didn't expect to see. Someone you know. A gangrel by the name of Sabrina. And she looks at you.
I cut eyes at her and just keep walking.
And a part of you wonders whether she heard any of that argument. And then, of course, a part of you hopes she has.
Mm-hmm.
Part of you hopes she tells what was said. And you can hear as you're
walking. Anything to make him possibly remember.
And you can hear when you're walking, due to the oddities that this castle is, based on your father's, or your adopted father's madness, sound travels oddly. And you can hear him greet Sabrina. Good evening, Sabrina. It's good to see you after all this time, after all these years. Do not mind anything you might have overheard. My daughter is being her normal, petulant and disobedient self. No matter, I'll have things well in hand.
She walks out the door of the castle. She goes out before she says something that will get her killed.
And that is where we end this vignette. A little bit of story about someone who's Kaitif from La Sombra, whose name was Brian, and was once in love with a girl, and became her ghoul, and then became a kindred, but was taken from her. And it leaves much to wonder about Esmeralda. How much humanity has she held on to by turning her back on her own clan powers, refusing the touch of oblivion? These are all things, I guess, that will come out later. And wherever this Brian is, will he remember? And I would like to thank Rillin for playing Esmeralda.
It was my pleasure.
It's easier to have an existing cast member play this particular SBC than me try to be two people at once on camera. But I thank everyone for coming to see this.
Absolutely. Just a brief little tidbit.
And we'll see you with the next vignette. I hope that vignette shed some light into the argument between Esmeralda and Dorian about her child. This next scene happens after True Death's performance, and True Death's performance is set to occur shortly after the events of episode 26, which is to be aired this weekend. But we felt it's important to put this in now. This is the meeting that Steve had asked Ludlow to have so that Steve could discuss certain issues he has and certain questions. I hope you enjoy it. bit of, gray in his brown hair. Looking older than, many kindred are embraced young, but not him.
How's he dressed?
He's actually dressed in what you would consider his normal attire. He's got him a pair of slacks on. He's got a button-up shirt with a tie on, and the tie is arranged correctly. There is a doctor's bag sitting beside him. He's fiddling with something in his hands that you can't really tell when you're walking up. And he sees you as you come up, and his head lifts and he looks. Steve?
It's him.
How you doing, Steve?
I really don't know, and that's why I wanted to talk to you.
Sit and have a chat with me.
Okay.
I rarely go out and about in this condition as often as I'd like. Have you ever really sat, thought, and wondered? It's weird to talk about it like this, but is this a curse? Is this a gift? Is any of what we are, each day we sludge on?
It's a little bit of both.
It is, especially with, what touches me a lot of times, and, my condition. You wonder each day, is it worth pushing? Do we push forward? Do we go through? And, is this a punishment of some kind for things we've done? I find it just odd to get kind of, morbid curiosity in some ways, but just to reminisce about, where I'd be otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's obvious you're here to talk to me about something. And, you haven't, since I've come back to the city, you haven't called a meeting yet, but what would you like to talk about, old friend?
Well, let's, I don't even know if the entirety of my reality is real. I know you have some idea about that.
I that is a question I ask myself more often than part of me can't help it, but it's a question that gets asked of myself a lot.
And I've starting to have to ask myself that a lot over the last few days.
Of course, when I'm well sated, I lose touch with reality and what happens.
Right, I've seen.
I get trapped in that state between the two of reality and non-reality, and it's only when I've become hungry that I remember. But as far as I know, you don't have the same affliction.
It's not the same, but let me ask you just to start straight out. Have I always been like this to you, or was I different?
It's a very odd question, very interesting question. Of course, I am quite a bit older than you. Not as old as I suspect Lily is, but close, not quite. Well, maybe not as old as Lily, it's hard to say. Granger embraced me when he was quite young. Barely embraced himself, I think. But unlike you, I managed to be free of him. And you did not quite have that luxury. When I first met you, it was Granger and I had a break again of sorts, as our relationship was always fraught with anger and hate, mistrust, and so at one point I'd come back and there you were.
Sounds like we have had pretty much the same relationship with our sire. However, I have reason to doubt that the reality I live in is anything, or the memories of what I've lived through are in any way related to what actual reality is. I have reasons to think that my memory was completely rearranged.
He does that. When I met you, I asked him where you came from because I was curious. A broodmate, something different. His questions never, or the answers never matched. They were always slightly different, slightly changed. Never quite fitting together correctly. He is a master at what he does, which is changing mine. I do not know what he told me was truth or lies because, to be honest, given my state, I don't always know myself. But I was introduced to you as you were Jimmy Page, an odd thing. But when we first met, you were confused. You seemed out of sorts. You didn't seem to be you, but were you? It's a very difficult, disassociative in some ways. The biggest memory I have, though, is you kept mentioning her. When would you see her? You wanted to be with her again. But you never could tell me who she was. And Granger, of course, refused to answer the question and got quite hostile whenever asked. But over time, I saw you become less unsure, less confused, and more into the individual I know now. Tortured in some ways, tormented in many ways, but not confused or unknowing of what you were.
Probably the results of his manipulations settling in.
He spent a lot of time alone with you, I will say. Whether it's manipulation setting in or that's how long it took him to build who you are.
Right.
I know where you're going, and he is quite capable of building someone from the ground up after erasing their previous life. It takes time. It takes years. But you were in his grasp for years.
Because my memory is that I was in L.A., and that a thin blood with certain abilities was able to give me a new appearance.
When we left L.A. together, you were Jimmy Page.
Well, as I found out, this particular thin blood is here in D.C., and I had an occasion to talk with him, and he said he maintains that he's never been in L.A.
You don't remember me stopping to visit you after that night with the lupine, do you?
No, I do not.
We spoke once before you left. I came back to visit with you briefly. Injured. Very injured. But myself. At least as myself as I could be. And we spoke briefly. And Granger said you were going back to D.C. with him. That it was time to leave L.A. It was a time to get away. Things had gotten bad. And you left as Jimmy Page. And yet you remember leaving as someone else and do not remember our conversation at all?
No, I do not. And for all this time, I thought that I was a Kaitif, the child of a Malkavian. It didn't work out. But I have other information that says that I'm not Malkavian at all.
So that would mean you're not the child of Granger.
Yes, that is the implication.
What could force him to take a child not his? Though, I mean, I've studied the man for years. I know he could be forced to do anything if threatened with something of sufficient force to explain. Ultimately, like many of us, he is one who wishes to live, does not wish to lose this existence, though that is a false hope for many. This existence only has one end, and it is the end, a final death, when we see the sun once more. And I think at some point all of us will want to see the sun again before the end. That man would do whatever it has to keep going. He's had more success in the shadows than he did in the daylight anyway.
Speaking of shadows, I'm going to have to reveal something to you. And I would like you to keep to yourself in as much as you can.
We have known each other a long time. And though your memories you may not always remember, we have been friends. My memories are mine still. Though part of me doesn't remember during the fed time. While hungry, I always remember.
I have been told by an elder that I am of her blood, that it called to her, and that is how she was able to reach out to me.
And what clan?
La Sombra.
Interesting.
And I wear her signet.
Very interesting. That I knew little on that particular clan. What I do know is they were boogeymen for years. Terrified many in the Camarilla. I ran into a few during my brief time in Atlanta long ago. But if you're one of them, you are definitely not Granger's child, for he cannot sire Lassam. He is Malkavian, Clan of the Moon, as I am.
And so you see...
There's a dilemma. How much is real and how much is not?
Right. And
I know little of your background. What I know of your real background, or at least what I know, is what Granger had told me. But it never sat right. But like many of us, we get absorbed in our own problems. And your problems were not mine. I have my own beast to bear.
Sure.
So my advice to you is be careful in what you know or what you reveal. Whatever it is that made him keep this secret would be very dangerous were you to allow it to be... Well,
I understand this very
whatever
well.
would force him to do something of this magnitude would be something he may be willing to kill.
But you believe that he is more than capable of having...
He is very capable. I have not met another in my time. As much skill as I have, I do not match his ability to rebuild the brain, to manipulate. His methods are brutal at times. Sometimes he doesn't seem to want to fix people. He prefers to tear them down instead. Whereas I sometimes fix, sometimes depending on where I feel, whether I'm studying. But his is never good. And he is more than capable of building, I would suspect, entire personalities, entire individuals, by clearing the mind and starting from the beginning.
Do you have any idea whether it could be undone?
My study of the mind shows that the secret to undoing what we can do to the brain is to first cast the doubt on what it is.
I have many severe doubts at this point.
And as you find the true memories, in time it will cause others, things taken, to fall away. Though I fear you may never get it all back. But parts will happen, and it will happen in bits and pieces as your old memories come forward and you remember, which will cause other areas to fall away. And in time, the false memories will be indistinguishable from daydreams. You'll see them as foggy bits of your memory and be able to identify them as such. But until you reach that point, you won't be able to tell between the two. He isn't he always was an evil individual in many ways. And the world would have been better had he not been embraced.
Since you do study people in depth, can you tell me his weaknesses?
His weaknesses are the same as many, the Clan of the Moon, or at least many, with his particular tastes. He is a survivor. He is tough. But he doesn't have control over some parts of his abilities unless he's directly applying them. But ultimately, his biggest weakness is his arrogance. He thinks he can survive anything. Much like his arrogance in tinkering with the mind. He can input whatever memories he wants. He can make people do what he wants. Change their very personality. He doesn't look always to see where he's wrong. Or where his abilities don't protect him. So his arrogance is his weakness. Use it. If you're going to try to destroy him.
That may have to happen at some point.
It will not bother me. The man shot me with a bolt and had me staked when I came. But if he thinks he's getting one over on you, he will take the opportunity to gloat, to rub your nose in it. And that's where he's at his weakness. Because he thinks he's won when he hasn't. Or he thinks he knows what you're going to do when you don't. But if he's rebuilt your mind as much as you suspect, he knows a lot more about the way you process than you do. And be careful. I would trust more the input of those around you on those kind of things than your own in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are not influenced by him. Though, if you can find who your real sire is, perhaps they would be of help. If you've already known whatever reason you weren't to know who your real sire was.
I do need to know who that was, but the problem is there's a very limited number of Lasombra. From
Go
whom to
by
pick.
what you told me. Kept wanting to see her. You needed to see her.
Hmm.
I do not know who her was, but I would think that's the link. I am willing to use my abilities to try to help you, though I'm not sure what I can do if the locks are still the memories your own. All I can do is help you to find the truth in there. It's not without risk. I could cause more damage. I'm not him. I'm not skilled.
Everything carries a risk for us.
Oh, very true. Every day is risk.
I would
Very little reward.
would very much like your help with this.
I will
If nothing else, you can tell me.
formulate a plan. I will look at my notes, studies I've done, things I have done, and I will formulate a proper idea to go forward with this.
Because if nothing else, you can maybe see where the locks and blocks are.
Perhaps I may be able to draw out the clouds. Because as I said, if you can see the clouds, there's a chance you can tear them down. I will do this for you.
Thank you. I'm in your debt for that.
No. We've passed that, my old friend. We've been through too much together. But I will look.
I wish I'd known all those times.
It's maybe you'll get them back. Perhaps, perhaps not. We shall see. There's always the future, at least, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And Ludlow stands up at this and walks away. But you notice whatever he was fiddling with, he's left behind. He's got his doctor's bag, but there's a piece of paper where he was sitting.
Mm.
It's actually an old photo. But it's not what you'd expect when you look at the photo. It is a photo of the sun rising over DC, over the skyline. And that's what he's been holding, a picture of dawn.
Hmm.
And that's where we end this. Steve got some important information.
Yes, he did.
And Ludlow revealed a little of his own demons in the process. And I'd like to thank you, of course, and everyone who came to see it. These are the events that happen on the sides that normally would never be seen in a stream. And that's why we do these. And in Ludlow's case in particular, him and Steve do share a bond. They spent time, even though Steve doesn't understand how much.
Right.
But they've spent time, and Ludlow does consider you a friend. But it's also obvious that Ludlow is not happy with his existence.
No.
And you've always known that about him, that he's always had an odd fascination with seeing the dawn once again. And that's where he ended. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And we'll see you later. This final vignette occurs on the night that Steve and Sam were having their discussion on steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Lily and Karina had planned a girls' night out, and she asked Jack to come with her. And though you would think these events are not all related, there's an underlying thread to this. And as you watch it, think about what you would give for what you want, what you're willing to sacrifice to be happy, at least for a time. Please enjoy. Good evening. For this scene tonight, this is going to be the girls' night that Lily and Karina had arranged together. And of course, Lily had mentioned she was going to bring along an escort for the night, someone that, if things got ugly, could handle the situation. Of course, I am the storyteller for this one, as Shanky McStabber.
And I'm Relyn, and I'm playing Lily Sanger.
Hey guys, it's yours truly, the one with the one punch Jack Myers back for, guess what, round 2 maybe? Who knows?
We know, or not hope, depending. So at the start of this vignette here, Lily and Jack have gathered at the club, the Succubus Club. Mm-hmm. It is the night after True Death's performance. Mm-hmm. Even though it's a night that the club is open, Lily has decided it's the best night to go out to do what she wishes to do. Do you brief Jack on any part of what your plan is before Karina arrives?
Yes, I advise him that some interesting kindred have been spotted at a club a couple blocks away called Red. And Karina and I are going to basically talk some people up there to see what's going on, and just want you to tag along in case we need some muscle.
Of course.
And I know you have a good eye for dirt, so you might find out something too.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not long to wait. Karina's always punctual. Mm-hmm. And Karina arrives magnificently dressed.
Good.
She is ready to go clubbing.
All right, let's go.
She has got the first time you've seen her in a miniskirt.
Fantastic.
Hair done up, not pulled back, done up, and she is ready to rock it.
And Lily is definitely devil in a blue dress tonight. She has a blue satin cocktail dress on that fits her perfectly.
And Jack's wearing all black.
Nice.
With black shorts this time.
And, you know, it's Jack. Mm-hmm. He never fails to actually attract eyes when he comes in the crowd. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a stunning man. Literally, actually, is. Mm-hmm. You know,
he's a stunning man.
And if he hits you, he's twice
really
as stunning. When Karina arrives, she comes in and meets Lily and
Jack.
And well, she sees Jack and she nods. She's met you before. Mm-hmm. It's been a while, Jack.
Karina,
I mean, I saw you last night at the performance, but we didn't really get a chance to talk much.
It was a good show, though, wasn't it?
It was a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I assume you're going to be our escort for the night.
He is our escort for the night.
Yes, I am.
That'll work. Where are we going?
It's about 2.5 blocks away from here, past the mall, and we are going to Red.
Oh, yeah, I know that place.
Yeah.
And you said there's some, to keep my eye out if I see, and she kind of eyeballs anyone that looks familiar. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's go.
And maybe we might need to talk some ears off a little bit to find out who's coming and going.
No, that sounds like a plan.
All right.
And she grabs one of your arms, Jack.
And Lily grabs the other.
And Thomas, ma'am, do you need any of us with you tonight, or is everything covered?
We should be okay. Keep an eye on the club for me.
Keep an eye on her.
It's what I do.
Just...
If she gets hurt, yeah, I don't know about you guys. I have a lot killing me. That's my boss. So, yeah.
I'll be fine, boys.
They're a little protective at times.
Just a little.
And you step out into the night air. Now, it is July, so it's not cool night. It's actually a kind of a warm muggy night. But you're kindred. You don't even have to worry about sweating in your outfits, which is nice. And as you're walking there, your trip to Red does take you. It's a nice, beautiful night. I mean, it's a little muggy, but it's still beautiful. And Karina has stated she'd prefer to walk. Just because she hates the parking at this time of night, to be honest. And as you're walking there, you cut across the mall. And while cutting across the mall, you can see off in the distance on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. And the only reason you notice it is because, well, it's lit. There's 2 individuals. And if you're not mistaken, one of them appears to be Steve Perry, sitting on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. And the other is, of course, Dr. Samuel Ludlow. They seem to be having a conversation off in the distance. And Karina notices right away. Interesting. I was not aware they... Well, no, same sire. I guess they do know each other.
They kind of came up together.
Well, but
in a way.
It's not general knowledge that Ludlow is Granger's.
Hmm. Well, you and I know it.
Well, I know a lot of things.
Well, I didn't know it.
Well, now you do.
I would
Yeah.
love to be a fly on that wall.
Hmm.
Have you met Dr. Ludlow?
Mm-hmm. I believe I have.
Yes,
He
you
was
have.
that night at the club. He was the one who was
He was the
dominating.
one at-
Yeah,
Mhm.
I met him.
You met Sam.
Yeah, and I saw Sam's handiwork.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
He's an odd one.
Hmm.
Odd.
He gets the job
I'm
done.
familiar.
But I think rather than disturb them,
Yeah, we'll
I think we'll continue our thing.
Mhm.
And as you're cutting through the night, the traffic is heavy because it's a July night
Mm-hmm.
and it's a
It's a
Saturday.
Friday night.
It's a Friday night.
Mhm.
Thursday, Friday. No, it was a Saturday.
No,
'cause
it's
the show was a Friday. Wasn't
Thursday.
It? Thursday was a show. Okay, well,
Yes.
see,
I do
I'm
shows
corrected.
on Thursday.
She knows her show times for true death. It's a Friday. Fridays are busy.
Yes.
And
in DC.
the area in general.
In the summer in DC, absolutely.
And when you get to the Club Red, of course, it is packed. There's a line out front.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big line out front.
I walk right up to the bouncer. I'm going to do Blush of Life.
Okay.
I succeed.
Okay. Bouncer eyeballs you, eyeballs Karina, gives Jack the double eyeball because he's assessing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say, Lily Sanger, owner of the Succubus Club.
Oh. Tell you what, you can go right in. Ladies enter free. Cover charge.
How much?
$20 cover charge for him, just him.
I take it right out and give it to him.
Okay.
Thank
You
you.
can go right in. And when you enter the club, of course, the very first thing you hear is muttering in the line. But the ones who mutter are the ones who don't understand how this actually works.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who are always muttering when people get ahead of them in line.
Mm-hmm.
Because the ones who are known or who have the right connections go right in.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get in the club, it's packed. It is a literal meat market
Okay.
of just people on the floor
Good.
dancing and carrying on.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell the kind from one end to the other. But they're all fashionably dressed. All of them look rather well off.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single person here is out of place.
Okay.
Karina,
It's a swanky place.
it's a nice place. I haven't been here before. I've seen it, but
Mm-hmm.
I get so rarely to go out to clubs or to do anything, remotely.
Anytime
Enjoyable.
you're free, hit me up. I'm happy to take you out on the town.
Well, you've said the magic word, free.
I know.
So, what is you guys' plans? You guys going to go get a seat somewhere? I mean, there is a VIP section that you don't have direct access to, but you might be able to get into.
I want to.
There's also the dance floors. There's actually several bars.
And I do. I'm running my blush, so I'm looking alive. I'll be like,
With the lighting here,
it doesn't much
probably
matter,
wouldn't have mattered.
but that's okay. I wasn't always in here. I was
I
outside.
mean, it's a cacophony of bright and flashing lights and grinding bodies on the floor. We're not on the dance floor.
Oh my.
They're not on the floor grinding. That'd be weird.
I'm going to kind of do a circuit around the dance floor. I'm
Okay.
going to tell them, you guys do what you need to do to get what you need. I'm going to make the rounds.
And Karina locks her arms in yours, Jack. Says, if we're looking for people, why don't we go get a nice booth or a couple bar seats or somewhere to sit down that gives us a nice view of the place?
Mm-hmm. You guys do that. I'm going to go do the rounds.
And she
Sounds
says,
good to me.
let me know if Jack, if you keep your eyes peeled, if you see anyone with a cane, since that was like the key thing she told us, let me know. And I'll
Of
let you
course.
roll wits awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do wit streetwise, really, because that would also apply to trying to keep an eye out on things around you, whichever one you think is better for you.
Yeah.
And both Jack and Karina do have my number, so they can text me if they see something.
Yeah.
Okay, and you want me to roll wits awareness as well? Okay.
I've already rolled for Karina.
Okay. Five.
How many did you get, Jack?
Hold on, I had to pull mine up.
Okay, that's fine.
You said wits awareness?
Yeah, wits awareness or wit streetwise. It's up to you, whichever one you think is better for you.
No, doesn't make much difference. Unfortunately, I need to invest more points in that.
Probably wouldn't make much. You don't have a lot of streetwise, though, you see.
Fortunately.
No, that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I got 4.
4?
Yep.
You're wandering around, Lily. We'll do with yours first. You had 5.
Mm-hmm.
While you're making your way, you catch a glimpse up on the VIP level of a woman you've seen before. She's got almost ivory-colored skin, thick black hair, green eyes, which you can even see from here, and a long dress. And she's up on the VIP level looking down over the floor watching for something. Now, Jack, at the same time this is going on, you catch a guy going up to the bar with the cane. Silver cane, dapper-looking chap. He's actually wearing a double-breasted suit.
Okay.
With a gold pocket watch. You can see that he's blatantly shown tagged into its pocket, and he's got a silver cane that it's obvious it's a fashion accessory.
I'm rolling Blush of Life.
Okay.
I succeed. And I discreetly pull out my phone and I text Lily and I said, I found the guy you're looking for. He's walking up to the bar.
He's actually was leaving the bar. It looks like he's heading towards VIP.
He said he's heading to VIP, so you want us to follow.
Okay. And I'm like, yeah, the girl I was looking for is on VIP. And I'm looking to find the guy walking towards the VIP.
Okay, now that Jack has mentioned it, you do catch a glimpse of him. It is the man you expected it to be. He's got the blonde hair, kind of long. He doesn't have the top hat you saw him wearing last time. But it's quite possible, based on the way his hair looks, that he probably was wearing it when he came in. He's just left it somewhere else.
I'm going to make my way in his direction, like I might accidentally bump into him.
You're going to have a hard time doing that based on your position to his.
Okay.
That's why Jack noticed him and not you.
Can I do Scry the Soul?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So I'm going to rouse. And
This will be
I
interesting.
got hungry. I'm now at 2.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is Wits Aspects?
Trying to find it on my sheet.
Hang on. I can look it up too.
Someone didn't bring his reading glasses in.
Oh, I'll look it up then.
So I've got my book where I can read much better because the book is bigger letters than my summary. Discipline.
Well, she was busy doing other
It is
stuff
Intelligence
today, so, yeah.
Aspects.
But I need to know my part. So you just do your thing. Roll
Okay.
yours. I'm going to roll mine, and then we're going to find out what happened. Because, crazy shit's about to happen. I know. Always does with you. That's why Jack's here, to keep you out of trouble.
Okay.
Or
And I'm going to use a willpower.
to be into the trouble with you. One of the two.
Or get more, either
So
way.
far I have 3, but I'm going to roll 3 more.
He's Jack after all.
And I've got
Versus composure and subterfuge. Interesting.
5.
Okay. Five, huh? Okay. You get one question.
Is he kindred?
No.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Oh boy.
All right.
Actually, your question would be whether he's supernatural.
Is he supernatural?
Right, because it's actually saying
Is he supernatural?
he is supernatural. Whoa, that was probably loud. He is supernatural, but not kindred.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
So he
You
can be
don't
anyone.
know what it is. You've never seen it before yourself, but he is supernatural, but not kindred.
Okay, so I'm going to make my way in his direction.
Okay.
Hopefully I can get his attention.
Based on where you were, he's going to beat you to VIP, but that doesn't normally pose a problem.
No.
And Karina
It
sees
shouldn't.
Jack watching him, and she finally, because she didn't roll very well this time,
Yeah.
is that the guy we're looking for, Jack?
Yep, and Lily said for us to follow.
Okay, so yeah, we'll let's go and slide up.
So I'm basically working my way up too.
Okay. And you see him reach the VIP stairway to go up there, and the person at the steps, as soon as he gets close to it, he opens he pulls up the little rope and lets him just go right through. Doesn't say a thing to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still not using his cane, even as he's carrying two.
Oh, no,
he's got 2 drinks with him as he's going up there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I work my way over to my companions.
Green's like, that's interesting. He's got 2 drinks.
He's something. I don't know what yet. Not one of us.
Okay.
So he could be anything.
Yeah, she looks around and goes, I mean...
No, not them either.
Not one of those?
Mm-mm.
Not ones who like to visit the park?
I don't know. I don't know if it's that or something else.
Interesting. Well, there's only one way to find out. We can
Let's go
on
talk
up
our
there.
way in.
And when you get up to the VIP thing, of course, the guard steps immediately in your way and is like, sorry, VIP only.
Well, who's another prominent club owner got to talk to get a VIP access?
You'd have to talk to the owner, and they're not here.
Really? Not here on a Friday night?
No, actually, they're not. They've got 2 other properties.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, this is not the week they're at this one. There are, of course, VIP membership's not cheap, you see. If you want to be a VIP, it's a premium product, you see. And then,
I'm aware.
And how much would that be exactly for the premium membership?
he eyeballs you. He eyeballs Karina and Lily. Well, I mean, normally the premium goes for about $400 or $500 a month.
So you're not going to give DC's famous bartender?
I would, but I'm not the one who can, of course, do this. And
come on, it'll be our secret. Come on.
Oh,
I have the owner of the Succubus Club on my arm.
The Succubus Club. Now that's a pretty popular place.
Yes, it is.
I don't even know if I should be talking with you. You're the competition, aren't you?
Darling, there is no competition.
And Karina laughs a little at that one.
All right.
So I know what you're about to roll for something. What are you rolling?
I'm rolling entrancement. I've roused and succeeded.
She's just throwing them powers around.
No, I don't have the virus. I just have a cold. And this you can get lost.
It happens.
Yeah.
You're remote, so if you're going to cough and catch something, you're over there and I'm here. It's okay. Well, it's not okay. It's bad.
The maraca of death, y'all.
It's bad. It's not okay, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Technically, he can resist it. Statistically, he has a chance.
No.
In actuality, no, he didn't. It's like, okay, I guess I can make an exception for you guys.
Just one night. I promise I won't take advantage.
That's fine. Well, I mean, I don't mind if you take advantage of me, but
Maybe
I'll
later.
let you in here. Just keep it low key. And
Absolutely.
if anyone asks, you're members.
Absolutely. Card
and if
carry.
anybody asks, I didn't offer to record her taking advantage of you.
I mean, video collection's not so bad. I mean, we all have our little
I'm
our
not
little
that
kinks.
kind of girl. And I walk upstairs.
And Karina's just shaking her head. She goes, it's been a while since I've hung out with you types.
We're fun, aren't we?
You should have, Karina, my dear, you should have seen us in Baltimore.
I'm just glad I didn't have to clean up that mess, because that was a mess at the end of it all. And when you get up there, of course, the VIP is actually relatively packed. If they're charging $300, $400, $500 a month for access, they're making mint.
Yeah.
And when you get up there, there's several people you recognize up here. It is a who's who of DC socialites. There are senators. There are powerful lobbyist groups. Karina's just nodding her head going, I know that one. Know that one. Know that one. That's a bastard. He's sick. And she's calling him out. But it's painfully obvious the ones you're looking for. They're standing by the rail, and both of them are drinking the drinks he brought up. It looks to be Some sort of bourbon, or it's a dark colored drink. You would guess bourbon.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Karina, do you want to take the lead or do you want me to?
I mean, that definitely looks like her. I don't know who he is, but that is her.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go stand next to him and see if
She says anything?
they recognize us.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
And so you guys move over to the railing to look down, and you're standing right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear their small talk. They're talking about, watching the club, and, she's having a good time tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear him whisper something about, we'll wait till later. And when you get up close, yes, it's her voice even. This is the woman you swear you've met.
That voice is so familiar.
And they're looking down, and Karina just stands there and just got on the outside of you, so she's right beside them.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bit of recognition. Not one.
With Karina?
She doesn't recognize Karina at all. You don't see her look towards Karina, pay attention to Karina.
I want to do... Something's off about this. Because while she might not recognize Lily with the hair change, that was the only change Lily made, was the hair change.
She should recognize Karina.
She should definitely recognize Karina.
So what are you going to do? I know you're going to do Scry the Soul again, aren't you?
I don't know what else to do.
Well, then use it. That's what you have that power.
Yeah.
That is what the power is for.
And I succeeded.
Jack's just here to make sure that if shit goes south, he's able to knock that shit back north.
Right.
And yeah, I am carrying my brass knuckles on me. Not my gun, brass knuckles. Oh, the gun is on.
And it shows you the type of clientele this place has. They had no metal detectors at the door. No weapons checks at the door.
So I could have brought my gun.
You could have. Because the people who come in here...
Lily did.
Yeah, the people who come in here...
Okay.
Well, Lily, I'm borrowing your gun then.
I got 6.
You got 6?
Mm-hmm.
She's mortal, but not. She's both kindred and mortal at the same time. You're not sure why. You're not sure how. You don't even know what the hell you're seeing. But it's a flickering between mortal and kindred. And when you stare at her like that, the man beside her's head whips around at you. And he stares at you. Not here.
Let's talk.
Not here.
I just mouthed it.
And lead the way to a place where we can talk.
He goes, I'll be right back, babe. Just stay here, Helena. I'll be back. And she goes, okay, Trevor, I'll be right here. And you see him head down the VIP.
Mm-hmm. I follow.
And he steps out into the street.
Okay.
I assume Karina and everybody follows too.
Yeah.
Obvious you're following right behind him. Though she doesn't seem to care that you guys all just walk.
She doesn't know us.
No.
She doesn't recognize us. So.
And when you get outside, he's still got his cane in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks to the bouncer at the door and says, we'll be right back. Don't, Joe, we'll be here. I need to talk to some friends of mine real quick, and then we'll come back to. Joe's like, okay. Yeah, no problem, Trevor. We got you always. And you walk a little bit down the street where there's a little more privacy.
Yeah.
And he just turns to look at you and says, what?
What happened to her? I knew her.
I knew her. Karina goes, yeah, I knew her too.
We thought she was dead.
She is dead. She died years ago.
Well, you know what I mean.
Let me introduce myself. I am Trevor Barron.
Pleasure, Lily Sanger.
I am a mage. Do you know what that means? Do all of you know what that means?
I've heard the term.
I'm one of the awakened.
So are you the one who brought her back?
You can't cure what afflicts you.
Mm.
You should know this. There is no cure for the curse.
I don't see it as a curse, though.
It is a curse you don't understand. And while you can't cure the curse, if you're willing to make the right sacrifice, you can hold it at bay a little while.
Interesting.
She is my love. And I found her here in D.C. after many years, finally. And I made a deal with her. All I asked is for 1 year with her as she was. Before the death, before she became what she is. And that is who is upstairs now, from before. In 1 year, I will die. To give her that time, the magic will destroy. And at the end of that year, she will go back to who she was before I found her, with the memories of this year still there, with her other memories.
That'll break her.
It was worth it to her and to me to have a year that we wouldn't have had otherwise. Free of your curse, your stink, your vile twisting of the ways. She is, for some months left, mortal again. It's not an easy thing to do, and it is going to kill me. And it was worth it to have that 1 year. Do not take her from me.
I won't.
Because I will destroy all of you.
I look at Karina and Jack. We won't.
I had no plans on doing such a thing. You've done an audible
She
thing
was
this night
spotted,
for her.
and I decided to look into it. That's all.
She refused to leave the city. I'd hoped we could go away, but she didn't want to be far when she
Returns to her.
returns to what her curse. And I can't bear to see her that way. Again, dead, but not dead.
I bear her no ill will.
Then why did you come looking? Karina goes,
Curiosity?
a mystery?
A mystery.
Of course you can be honest with me, though I doubt you could lie to me.
I have no reason to lie. We was actually just curious. The fact that she was seen elsewhere.
We had been told something that is now proven false.
You were told she went east.
Yes.
That is what she told people. So that she could go for a year with me. And then return.
Mm-hmm.
And go back to her hell. But at least she had a year, and she'll remember that year. To remind her of what she was before. And I'll trade it. But you, I'm faced with a difficult decision. You could undo what I've done.
No,
No,
I wouldn't.
I don't have it in me.
I know what love is and how precious it is. I would not destroy that.
I'd rather meet final death than destroy something this precious.
And Karina just goes, I got no skin in the game. It's not my clan business.
We will leave you two in peace. Enjoy your time while you have it.
I will. And near the end, I'll come visit. Just to let you know, she will return.
You'll
Oh,
find me
you
at the
know where to
Succubus
find
Club.
us. I'm at Purgatory.
We've been avoiding places
Mm-hmm.
that you're, well, she doesn't realize we're avoiding the places because she doesn't know your kind exists. We have gone back to when I was her apprentice. But she'll remember it all. Even this night, she'll remember seeing you guys. And that was the deal we made. 1 year. And for her, that's nothing when you have eternity. And for me, it's all that matters.
Thank you, Trevor. It was an honor meeting you.
I would say the same, but I hate your kind.
I understand.
You have all the right to.
And he does a little bit of a bow, and he walks off, and Karina just goes, I've never been that close to one of those.
Neither have I. I sure shit wasn't going to piss him off.
No, May, I know we all know they exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never been face to face with one of those.
I didn't think there were any here.
Well, now
I
we
didn't
know.
think you could. Karina goes, I didn't think you could even temporarily.
That's got to be some kind of time magic shit.
That's some heavy
I know.
time magic. He put his life on the line for this.
Traded
So
His life.
whole life for 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Karina Love does crazy things to people.
yeah.
And
I
when
can
she
vouch for
returns
that.
to what she was, she won't look at it the same way he did, though.
No.
Because she's one of us, and that emotion deadens over time. And while she's, young for us,
She's not young.
but she's not young.
No.
Uh-huh.
And how come, if he was her apprentice, how come he's young?
I have no idea.
I have no answers.
I was not
I
a
don't
mage.
even like the Tremere shit.
I know. Trust me, I know.
And she looks around. See, it's been a series of unnerving events, and I'm slipping.
It's okay. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah, I think after what we were just told, I think we need a little bit of fun.
Yeah,
There is no cover for my VIPs at my club. Let's go have some fun.
I'd like a drink, but we can't really have that.
Who says you can't?
Well, I do not mean to offend, but I'm not going to discuss my particular taste with others.
You will have to let me know so I can provide the right refreshment for you when you do come to my club.
You do not have to worry. I am always well topped off.
Good.
When I go out.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you all, what, you got something, Jack?
Yeah, I was holding up my arm and said, shall we go, ladies?
Yes, we shall.
Of course we shall. And we're going to end that one. It was a very quick scene. Well, not that quick, but it was a very interesting scene where you got to finally find that little bit that was left hanging from before that you didn't know.
Holy shit.
And had you brought more people or the wrong people, it might have ended different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I brought people who had, etiquette. Politeness.
And now you know she's not gone.
No.
Well,
She's
she
coming
is.
back.
She is gone.
But she's coming back.
And she's going to be hurt.
She's gone and here at the same
And
time.
she's going to be so pissed that Velois is Pontifex.
Judging by
Oh, boy.
when you know she was supposedly beckoned.
Yeah.
Would have been about March, April time frame.
Yeah.
She's got a number of months left.
She's got a few months left. Yeah, she's got a number of months left, but
And for those that are not uninitiated, there's a heavy price to pay for what he's done.
yeah,
A heavy price. Because
that's crazy.
the rules of the universe aren't to be cheated.
No.
And as it's once said, are you powerful enough to undo the will of God? If God is the creator of the curse, and if not, are you strong enough to undo a curse that has lasted millennia?
Mm-hmm.
He has, at least for a time, given her back a sense of what she was, only to lose it. And I would like to thank you, Jack, for
Thank
playing
you
this brief
so much,
vignette
Demetrius.
for us.
Of course.
She wanted to have something just in case. I'd hoped there would be no fights, but
Yeah, just in case. Sorry you didn't get to throw your one punch, but
I was happy to not throw a punch.
Yeah.
Had she just started talking with Helena, it might have gone differently.
Yeah. No, I wasn't going to start talking with her because something was off.
Might have gone differently.
Mm-hmm.
But she gave herself away with Scry the Soul because he obviously could feel it being used.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure he felt it on him, too.
Most likely.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
And thank everyone who watched this.
Thank you.
This is the last of the 3 for tonight's vignettes.
Yep, it will actually be...
It'll be, when you're watching it, you see it.
Mm-hmm.
The first of the vignettes is from a time before, not long, maybe a week.
Yep, and this happened at the same time that
this one and
Steve was talking to Ludlow.
The vignette before this one, which is the Steve and Ludlow talk, this is the same night, which is the night after True Death.
Mm-hmm.
And in all of them, they're linked with a common thread. And the common thread is loss.
Mm-hmm.
Each one has lost something.
Mm-hmm.
And as it stands now, each one doesn't realize what they've lost.
Mm.
And when the realization comes and when that knowledge is there, how will it change the kindred involved?
All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
And this concludes all 3 of the stream vignettes for the night. All 3 talk about what is lost, love lost, sometimes our entire selves, and in other cases, a sacrifice made to save and to have time with someone they love, at least for once. And I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you return. We will be airing our normal chronicle at 6 p.m. Eastern this Sunday. And this is when the return of the Thin Blood Mallory. Next week, we will not be airing a vignette at a normal time. Instead, there's a special one-night, one-shot with a special guest DM, Tamshu. And we will be playing, Rillen and myself, along with others, in that game. But we will air our regular vignette that would be scheduled for Wednesday on Friday. So, please enjoy it. Enjoy next week. And thank you for coming.